All right, for our last discussion in Chapter 11 about statistics, I'm going to keep this video short. My hope is under 10 minutes. We'll see if that comes to fruition as we go. We're just going to talk about what percentiles are. You've seen them before, but we're going to kind of talk about what they are and how they're calculated. So before we do that, we're going to figure out if there are any outliers in this data set, which was the topic of the previous video. So I'm going to put in this data, 53, 58, 52, 57, 60 again, 43, 44, 72, 51, 49, and 58. So then to find outliers, I need the 5-number summary, which is StatCalc, one of our stats. So we got Q1 is 44, Q3 is 58. So my IQR is 14. So then the IQR times 1.5 is going to be 21. Okay. So if I take Q1 and subtract 21, that gives me 23. And if I take Q3 and add 21, that gives me, what's that, 79? So anything below 23 or above 79 is considered an outlier. So 23, don't have anything in the 20s. Any 80s? 79 or 80? Nope, doesn't look like it. So no outliers. No outliers. But these are the fences with the numbers that we care about. Do we? No, 23. Okay. All right. So very, very quickly, a percentile is a way to kind of rank a person or rank a score within a data set. Okay, so a lot of times this comes with like MCA tests. You'll get your scores back and it'll give you a percentile. And what that number means is what percent of data points, in this case people, are at or below your score. So if you get, for instance, let's say your MCA score, you get the 45th percentile in math, that means 45% of everyone who took it are at or below your score. Below your score. So you can't really say you're better than 45 or you scored better than 45% of people because there's going to be a few that scored the same as you, but that's what a percentile means. It's the percentage of people or data points that are at or below a specific value. So if you're over the 50th percentile, that means you are at or better than 50% of people. So percentile, the higher the number, the better. So science, again, 53rd percentile would mean your score is at or above 53% of individuals. And if your reading was the 81st percentile, then you are at or above 81% of people who took that assessment. Okay. But that's kind of the phrase that we use, at or below. Okay. So just going to show a couple quick examples of how to determine a percentile. And then we'll wrap up chapter 11. So the number of seconds you can hold your breath is as follows. And this was actual class data that I used from a previous class. So I want to find the 20th percentile of that data set. So here's what's going to happen. To find the 20th percentile, I need to first change percentage into a decimal. So the 20th percentile, or 20%, is 0.20. Then I'm going to multiply by the number of data points in this list. So I'm just counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 24 data points. Okay, so I'm going to do 0.20 times 24, and that's going to give me 4.8. Now, for percentiles, for figuring out a percentile, that 4.8 is not the answer. Okay, that means that the number that's 4.8 in the list is the actual 20th percentile. Since it doesn't make sense for this to be a decimal, we will always round this number up. Always for percentiles, we will round this value up. In this case, it rounds up to 5. So the 20th percentile is the 5th number in the list when ordered from least to greatest. Okay. So the 5th number in the list, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the 20th percentile is 20 seconds. So if you can hold your breath for at least 20 seconds, you are in the 20th percentile, meaning you are at or better than 20% of your peers. Okay. If I wanted to find the 80th percentile, I would do the same idea. So to find the 80th, I do 0.80 times 24. 0.8 times 24 gives me 19.2, but I have to round up to 20. So that means I need the 20th number in this list. Well, I know there are 24 numbers in the list, so I'm just going to go backwards. This is the 24th, 23rd, 22nd, 21st, 20th. So the 80th percentile is 60 seconds. So it means if you can hold your breath for 60 seconds, you are at or above 80% of people, or 80% of people are at or below your ability. Okay, so change the percentile into a decimal, multiply by how many data points there are, round up, and then find that number. Where is that number in the list? So one more very brief example. In Mr. Wire's class, he did the same sort of thing, gave a data, like a survey, and this is how many siblings each of his students had in a class. So I want to find the 30th percentile. So to find the 30th percentile, I'm going to do 0.30 times the number of 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 18, 20, 22, 24, 25. So 0.30 times 25 will give me 7.5, which I have to round up to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So one sibling would be the 30th percentile for this data set. And then if I want to do the 60th percentile, again, it'd be the same idea. 0.60 times 25 gives me 15. So there's no reason to round up. I know that was the 8th. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So two siblings would be the 60th percentile, meaning if you have two siblings, then you are at or above 60% of the students in that class. Okay, so that's the idea behind percentile. Percentiles, oh boy. Percentiles tell us what percent of data points are at or below a specific value. Bam, done.